Nurses, there are 3 R's that I've recommended you consider as central to your nursing career. And those 3 R's are recognition, remuneration, and respect. Let's dig into these 3 crucial aspects of your nursing career right here on episode 105 of The Nurse Keith Show. Well, what's up, everybody? Hello and welcome to The Nurse Keith Show. Whether you're a new listener or a longtime listener, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being part of the Nurse Keith Nation. This podcast is all about you and your nursing career, and I'm here to share education, inspiration, and ideas that are going to get you moving in a positive and inspired direction. I'm a member of the Pulse Media Network of podcasters, along with RNFM Radio, The Innovative Nurse Show, Elizabeth Scala's Your Next Shift podcast, and the wonderful gluten-free RN. You can find The Nurse Keith Show on iTunes. Please consider leaving a rating and review over there. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. The show notes for this episode are located at nursekeith.com/episode 105. Let's dig right into today's topic, shall we? So folks, I've been culling through my blog Digital Doorway for older posts that need a little new breath of life. And back in 2013, I wrote a blog post entitled The 3 R's of Nursing. And that post received a lot of page views, thousands, and a lot of positive feedback and comments over the years. So on April 17th, 2017, I edited and republished an updated version of that post. The link is in the show notes at nursekeith.com/episode 105. And I decided that that blog post was awesome fodder for a podcast episode. Thus, here we are at episode 105 talking about the 3 R's. And actually, the idea for the 3 R's came from another blog post that I've republished, and that's called The Nursing Class Hero, kind of a riff and a pun based on the John Lennon song, Working Class Hero. And I wrote this. Back in the day, nursing was a non-professional, relatively unskilled form of labor wherein nurses were at the beck and call of all-powerful physicians. Over a long period of time, nursing lacked any quantifiable scientific data on practices to underscore the importance of our contributions. Thus, we were relegated to a rather working class level of recognition, remuneration, and respect. So from what I wrote in that blog post, that's where those 3 R's came out. And the first one I want to talk about is recognition. And we all want to be recognized. I wrote about that in the blog post, and there's some quotes from that blog post in the show notes. And even when nurses began to organize, systematize our knowledge, create actual nursing science and nursing research and the evidence base for our profession, it's been admittedly a pretty slow road, a pretty long haul to get to the place of being recognized for our contributions to patient care and our contributions to medicine and healthcare in general. As I've talked about here on the Nurse Keith Show ad nauseum, but I'm going to tell you again, we are the most respected professionals in the United States in terms of honesty and trustworthiness. The Gallup poll sizes us up every year, and the public keeps saying that they trust nurses more than anyone else. Our contributions are irrefutable. Nurses are recognized to a certain extent, but there's still a lack of understanding of what we do and what we're capable of, and that's something that we need to keep pushing for. In terms of our ability to collaborate and receive respect from physicians, that has definitely grown from my perspective. But here in 2017, we're also seeing physician groups and groups that support doctors pushing back against legislation that would allow nurse practitioners and advanced practice nurses to have more and more autonomy. Now, that autonomy is growing. The Veterans Administration has made nurse practitioners with the exception of nurse anesthetists, but all other APRNs other than nurse anesthetists now have full autonomy of practice within the entire VA system, and other states are definitely going to be following suit. Things are tied up legislatively right now in Oklahoma. Thanks for listener Paul Martin for calling my attention to that. But hopefully Oklahoma is going to straighten it out, and those nurses are going to have full practice autonomy and authority sooner than later. So we need to push back against the AMA and those other organizations that are trying to decrease autonomy for APRNs. And we also need to demand respect for ourselves, whether we're RNs, APRNs, NPs, CNMs, it doesn't matter. Being respected by our colleagues and the public is definitely important for us personally and also for us collectively. So in the show notes, I listed 5 actionable steps for your nursing career that you can take when it comes to recognition, and I'm going to lay those out for you, unpack them right now. So first, identify what you've been recognized for. I don't care if it's official or unofficial. What have people praised you for? What have they recognized you for? If you've received any written praise or promotion or some kind of recognition or award, make sure that is well documented. If you have a certificate, some sort of documentation, make copies, make digital copies and back them up. Upload them to your LinkedIn profile for people to see, put them in a portfolio for you to show others when you go, let's say, for a job interview, and have that all written down. If someone's had something nice to say about you or praise to give about you, document it. Next, speaking of LinkedIn, ask colleagues to write recommendations and testimonials for you. In fact, connect with colleagues who you respect and who respect you, and trade recommendations and testimonials on LinkedIn. That's a great place for a testimonial to live, and then you can copy and paste it into any other document that you need. Get your recommendations written on LinkedIn, collect them all, and make sure you're giving back and giving testimonials for other people as well. Next, if you need recognition for something you've done, ask for it. If you were the chairperson of a committee, if you initiated a new policy or a new practice that really moved the needle at your workplace, or if you contributed in some other way, make sure that is documented so that you can have that to show others and demonstrate your expertise and your accomplishments. Next, this is a little more personal. When you receive praise or recognition, don't say, "No, I'm just a nurse." Enjoy it, take it in, internalize it. You need to acknowledge your own nursing awesomeness. So allow yourself to hear it and allow yourself to accept it. Finally, seek out new ways to get recognized in your nursing career. Get certifications, sit on committees, be the chairperson of a committee. Achieve things that you can then document and that will bolster the case that you are amazing and awesome. So that's recognition, folks. Now we're going to talk about remuneration. Money, 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 money. So in terms of remuneration, I wrote a whole lot about that in the blog post. The quotes from it are in the show notes. And there are lots of arguments about what nurses are really worth. In some regions of the United States, salaries are higher than in others. We know California and Hawaii actually have the highest salaries for nurses in the entire country. We also know that Boston, Atlanta, San Francisco, and other metropolitan areas also pay very well. We also know that cost of living is pretty high in some of those metropolitan areas. So it's not necessarily a done deal that just because you live in an area with high salaries, you're going to be able to live well, because cost of living can be super high in certain places, especially Hawaii, for instance. However, we all need to be paid fairly for what we do. And when I compare what we earn to musicians, athletes, movie stars, it doesn't really make sense to me, folks, because you know what? Nurses out there are saving lives. They are helping people in very direct ways. And sure, I buy movie tickets and go see my favorite musicians and whatnot, but I just feel like Nurses are rock stars and they should be earning more money. So demanding more money is a hard thing to do. And many of us nurses say, well, I'm just a nurse. I only deserve $26 an hour. Well, you know what? You don't. You deserve a whole lot of money. And what the Rolling Stones get for one performance can outstrip what an entire city filled with nurses might earn in the course of a week or a month. So think about that. We can't fix that disparity, but we can ask for more and demand more based on what we've achieved. So here are some actions to take about this aspect of your nursing career, remuneration. And these all, well, many of these involve going to the show notes at nursekeith.com/episode 105 and clicking on the links. 3 of these links are to recent articles over at nurse.org, where I'm the nurse liaison and content strategist. So one is to read the recent nurse.org blog post that shows the earning power of nurses in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. That will set you straight about where you can make the most money and where your state falls on that continuum. Next, there's my nurse.org blog post from March 2017 about the Bureau of Labor Statistics employment data for nurses. Very interesting data that's worth checking out. I actually recently did a podcast episode about this, so look back at recent podcast episodes here at the Nurse Keith Show and hear all about it and what I had to say about nursing salaries. And finally, we have another nurse.org blog post about the 15 highest paying nursing specialties. So if you're thinking of going for a specialty, consider where the money is, and you may want to follow the money. You may not, but you may want to, so check it out. Next, I want you to think about how long and how hard you've been working at your current workplace and the last time you received a raise. Think about how you would ask for more money and then make a date to speak with your manager about a raise and why you deserve it. If you need help with that, let me know and we can have a chat. And I can help empower you and build your confidence for having that conversation. So folks, that's remuneration. It's not the be all and end all. Money isn't everything, but even though it can't buy us love, it can buy us gas for our car, school for our kids, food on the table, paying our mortgage and rent, helping us make contributions to nonprofits and organizations we love. So money's important, and we should be well paid for the amazing work that we do as nurses. Finally, the third R is respect, RESPECT. We've sung about it. We've talked about it. We've demanded it. And some of us have it and some of us don't. Some of us would like more of it. Now, respect for nurses has risen, I think, exponentially over the last few decades. We used to be seen as opium-smoking women of poor moral standing who could only care for sick people and not do anything else. We've been seen as angels and saints. There's so many ways that we've been viewed, and there is a lot of respect for nurses out there. When you tell someone that you're a nurse, what do they usually say? I think it's probably something pretty special. And they usually will tell you a story of a nurse that saved a family member's life or was really kind. So nurses are looked on very positively, and that's a lovely thing. But with nurse-to-nurse bullying, we also call that lateral violence or horizontal violence. I wonder about what's really going on with nurses, because if we're bullying each other, there's a lack of self-respect and respect for others, and we need to not turn on one another. We need to support one another. This is pretty sad, and we need to stand up to bullies. We need to ask for respect from our colleagues. We need to ask for respect from the public, from the media, and from the people who we work for and manage us, the people who we report to. So here are some action steps regarding respect and getting respect in your career. 1, If you're being bullied at work, I want you to find out how to protect yourself and fight back against a bully. Or if you're witnessing bullying, I want you to find out how to fight back against it. I want you to check out my friend Renee Thompson's resources on nurse bullying at reneethompsonspeaks.com. The link is also in the show notes. If you're noticing and witnessing negative or aberrant behavior on your unit or your workplace, you need to document it with witnesses' signatures, date, time, who was there, what was said, what was done, what happened. Document it with witnesses so you can build a solid case to get that bully out of there. Next, if you're disrespected by a colleague, by a patient, by a doctor, by an administrator, learn how to counter that disrespect and assertively and calmly demand respect. Next, speak back to those who demean or undermine the importance of the nursing profession and the work that we do. We need to make sure that people understand nurses and respect our profession. So you need to speak up and speak back when you hear nursing being disparaged. Next, consider how asking for more money or asking for a promotion is a sign of self-respect. You can respect yourself by being able and willing to say, yes, I deserve more money, I deserve a raise, and I'm going to ask for it. And next, realize that wanting more respect begins with respecting yourself and then demonstrating respect for other people. It starts on the inside and moves to the outside. So practice self-respect. It is so crucial for you, my friends. So if there are any other R's that you want to share, let me know what they are. And you know what? If they start with another letter, that's okay too. I just want to know what you think is most important. So if there's other things you think are super crucial, super paramount to your career success or happiness or satisfaction, let me know what those are. I want to build on these 3 R's and create a whole alphabet for nurses and what we really need and what we deserve. So I concluded in that original blog post that nurses need to be the change that we want to see in the world. And that may be a cliche, but cliches are there for a reason, oftentimes because they're true. We want to shower one another with respect and recognition. And then if we need more, ask for what you need. And when it comes to remuneration, if we recognize ourselves for our contributions, recognize the profession and recognize our colleagues and other nurses, that brings respect to the table. And with that increased respect, let's hope that remuneration follows. Those 3 R's are something that I really adhere to, folks, and I'd like to hear what you have to say about them. Email me at keith@nursekeith.com. Let me know what you think about the 3 R's and if you're going to take some actionable steps to bring them forward for yourself in your life and your career. Well, there you have it, folks. Thanks for listening to the Nurse Keith Show. You've spent another 20 or so minutes with me, and I hope it was time well spent. It's always time well spent for me being here at the microphone talking to you. I hope you feel uplifted and empowered from the episode, and I want you to take some inspired action every day in the interest of your professional satisfaction and career development and improving and empowering those 3 R's in your career. If you want to become a patron of the Nurse Keith Show, you can pledge as little as $2 a month to show a little love for the show. There are generally 4 episodes a month, so if you pledge $5 a month, you're just pledging $1.25 per episode. That will get you some gifts sent to you by snail mail from my heart to yours. Just head over to patreon.com/Nurse Keith. That's patreon.com/Nurse Keith to pledge as little as $2 a month to help me and support the growth of this show. The Nurse Keith Show is edited and produced by the consistently amazing and wonderful, fantastic Tim Hollowell of thepodcastingguy.com, who is also doing lots of production for Pulse Media Network at pulsemedianetwork.com. Social media and promotion are handled by the equally amazing and wonderful and capable Mark Cappy Speeson. Remember, post a review of the Nurse Keith Show on iTunes. It helps more people find the show. Hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Email me at keith@nursekeith.com with any questions. Sign up for my newsletter at nursekeith.com and leave me a voicemail. I can play your question on the air and answer your question too. My friends, stay positive, care for yourself and others, take inspired action in the interest of your nursing career, and keep tuning in again as we explore how to make your nursing career more satisfying, more fun, more respected, more recognized, and remunerated than you ever imagined. Remember those 3 R's: be well, dig deep, keep in touch, and adios till next time.